Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for the King of Tokyo. So if you watched my previous video, which is a little bit long, so I was explaining the rules, so I'm not going to go back over that. If you want to know more about the rules, check out that, or if I've released a how to play video by now, check out that. But this is the Power Up expansion. It's the first expansion, and there's two boxes because the one on the left is the original, the one on the right is the second edition. And they did this for the base game, and both of the first two expansions made upgraded versions to just kind of like they changed the text, they made the font on the stuff on the cards more understandable for newer games because the core concept of the game is to get people in rolling dice doing stuff. So this kind of just streamlined all the text. It has the same thing, same backs, everything like that. So we're going to jump in and take a look at these. I'm going to show off both at the same time, so I'll keep the original stuff on the left and the new stuff on the right, so you can kind of decide which one you want. If you own only the original base game, you can buy either of them, because this comes with extra cards that tailor for each individual monster to make them unique. So the base game, each monster is essentially the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're playing as, the Alien Leg versus Mecha Dragon. They're the exact same character. This gives each character their own special cards to make them play differently. So that way you get a little bit more unique gameplay out of each character. So the power up, the first base one is only going to have, the first edition will only have cards just for the first edition characters, not for the two characters it swapped out from the power up. If, however, though you own the first one already for some reason and you buy the second one, it will have all the characters from the first one plus the two new ones from the second edition. So out of these two, I would just recommend finding the second edition because then you're going to get all the cards for all the characters regardless of which base set you have. The only reason you might not want to is if you have a preference on which panda you like. So it's also neat is this introduces a new character. So let's go ahead and hop into these. I already got the stuff out for that one, so I'm just going to open this one up. Just pop this tray out. Alright. First thing up we're going to look at, we just have our two different... Out of my way. We have our two different instruction manuals. Nothing terribly different in there. It's just going to explain how the power-up cards work, how everything works, and they're basically the same exact thing. There's probably a little bit different text in there. And then the back is just going to explain some variants. So we're going to look at the newer one, just so we have... So it's going to tell you everything that's in the box, which is really nice. So then we have these special evolution cards. They're going to look like this. So it's going to have the name of the monster. So these are Gigasaurus cards. Have a species type, mutant, invader, or robot, which belongs to a species. So it says these for tournament or variants or for future expansion. So currently, right now, it doesn't mean anything, but they put it on there so they have the advantage of doing something with them later. Type of evolution, they're permanent and temporary, and then what its effect is. So how to evolve. So you start off, you take 8 different cards and make yourself a deck. Each monster begins with 1 evolution, so everyone starts with 1. So you get a draw 2 is what they let you do, and you get to pick which one you want. And then how to evolve. Whenever you roll 3 hearts, you draw 2 more evolution cards, you keep 1, and you discard the other one. So it gives you options on what to do, so you can kind of like, oh, I want to go path A or path B. It's actually kind of neat. Since it's not a cost, but it's rather a bonus. You can still use the dice to heal. So if you roll 3 hearts, you can still heal, but you also get a gain evolution bonus. If the deck is empty, reshuffle it. Keep your evolutions in hand until you decide to play them, which can even be during other players' turn if it doesn't specify when to play it. So you don't have to play them immediately, kind of like the power cards you buy. You don't always have to use them instantly. Temporary. Once you play them, you discard them. Permanent, they stay in play. So there we go. That's basically that. So then they have just mentioning wound. A monster wounds another monster when he makes him lose one health during your resolve step. And then there's a variant called Mutant Evolution. So you shuffle the evolutions of the monsters in play and deal 8 evolutions to each player. They can therefore belong to any monster. Players simultaneously choose evolution and play it face down in front of themselves, then pass the other evolutions. Player left, everyone looks at 7 evolutions they just received. Choose one, pass the remaining 6 to the player on the left. Repeat this until everyone has 8 evolutions. Each player then shuffles there and makes their own deck. So basically what you're doing is you can take either just the ones for the monsters out there, or you can take every single evolution card for every character that you own. You can shuffle them up, and you can basically, essentially, this is like a draft format, where you're then, each person gets to look at the hand of 8. Like, you draw 8 off the deck, and they get to pick which one they want and pass them around. Or you could just mix them all together, shuffle out, and deal 8 to each person, which may or may not make the game balanced. So each deck itself is probably slightly balanced. But if you just give them random stuff, you might get people that have some cards that are very similar to each other, or some that are like too high powered, or they might have all discard cards. So it might not be as even that way, but it's definitely a way you can play just by using all the cards. Alright, so we're gonna first look at, we have our new character. We have the new Pandakai. So there's the let's see if I can get this in a little bit better light for you. So the old version versus the new one. Otherwise, it functions the same as all the rest of the cards. So yeah, if you have a preference in one over the other, I personally like the original one better. I like where he's kind of sitting in a city versus this glowing stuff. But that's preference. It's here nor there. They play the exact same way. Then you're gonna get some tokens, which I haven't popped out these ones yet, but you're gonna get UFOs, little aliens, a target, and a snow counter for the new game, and these work with the evolution cards. The original games have already popped these ones out, because I've had it for a while. You're gonna get 3 of the alien ships, which look basically the same. Nothing new there. They changed the generic alien head to alien leg, which I think themes it the game better. They just kind of changed the target up a little bit, made it a little bit more detailed. And then this one does not come with a snow token. And that's because the snow token it's for Space Penguin, which is part of the second set. So if you only own the original base game, you'd have no reason to have that. Alright, then let's hop in and look at these evolution cards. If I can get these out of the box. And of course, you're going to get a stand for each character. Kind of goes without saying. So let's see if I can get these. Now, they should be the same exact effects on each card. Which I didn't spend the time to sort them. I'm going to do that really quick, so one moment. Alright, so the backs of the cards are basically the same. The original ones are a little bit darker than the newer ones. But actually, this could be a printing thing. That might not be every set. So we're just going to jump in and start looking at these. So, much like if you watch the original video with the power cards, these are going to be very similar. Pretty much all of them are going to have the same name. There's a few exceptions, and they're going to have the same abilities, just worded differently. So here we're going to start with Pandakai. He has a temporary evolution called Pandemonium. So the original says, discard this evolution to gain 6 energy, all other monsters gain 3. So then it just changes to gain 6, all other monsters gain 3. Because it gets rid of the whole discarding word, because the rulebook states temporary cards are play once and then you discard them. So they kind of felt like, why list everything twice? So it's a bunch of the stuff they change in this. They just kind of simplify the words, get rid of what they don't need to, so it's easier for newer players. You're going to see that with this one as well. So you can see all this text on eat, shoots, and leaves. It says you can only play this in the same turn you take control of Tokyo. After entering Tokyo, you may discard this evolution, deal 2 damage to all monsters not in Tokyo, gain 1 energy, then exit Tokyo. No monster takes your place. So then you just changed it to play when you take control of Tokyo, make all monsters outside Tokyo lose 2 health. So they changed the word damage into the health symbol. So they got rid of the word damage. Because I think it was easier just to be like lose health versus it saying damage. The same thing they said for doing attack. They said stop saying attack or deal damage, and they put the smash dice symbol. This is then leave Tokyo, no monster takes your place. It's just cleaner, a little bit easier to understand. So we have Bamboozle, and I'm not going to sit here and read both of everyone. I'm just going to read the updated one. It's sitting there if you want to read the original. So Bamboozle, when a player buys a power card, they do not spend energy and cannot buy that card this turn. Choose a different power card they can afford to buy. They must purchase that card. Ooh. We have the Bare Necessities. So lose 1 BP, gain 2 energy and 2 health. So it's just easier to say that than, discarding it and then healing damage. Panda Express, if you roll at least 1 of each type, gain 2 VP and take another turn. Then here it just specifies all other results count as the same thing, which, it's kind of, if you've been playing, you sort of realize that. Bamboo Supply, at the start of your turn, you can put 1 energy from the bank on this card or take all of them off this card. So you can kind of just load up and then eventually you can be like, boom, I'm going to eat all my stuff and gain a bunch of energy. Pangaroism, Survival of the Cutest. If you gain at least 3 health, gain 1 VP. Also gain 1 VP for each extra health you roll. And his last one is Yin and Yang. Before resolving your dice, you can choose to flip all your dice to the opposite side. 1 to 3, 2 to health, attack to energy. So it's actually kind of neat. And so that's basically your different evolution cards are going to be. So it makes every character, gives them some similar abilities to power cards would be, but they're going to be more unique to each character. So now if we look at Mecha Dragon in comparison, he'll have Destructive Analysis. So gain 1 energy for each attack you roll this turn. So the Panda had a lot of stuff with gaining health, or storing energy, stuff like that, like Disruption. Here we already have some damage. Program to Destroy, gain 3 VP and 2 energy each time another monster reaches 0. Mecha Blast. Each monster you wound would take 2 less. Each monster you wound loses 2 extra health. And you can definitely see where you get pick some of these. So like the one where they do, the previous one where you gain stuff for every monster that dies. Well, if you're playing like a 6-player game and you're down to 2 players or 3 players, that might not be as viable as it would have been if you drew that first. Tune up before rolling a die. If you are not in Tokyo, skip your turn and gain 4 health and 2 energy. Breath of Doom. When you make monsters in Tokyo lose at least 1 health, monsters who aren't in Tokyo also lose 1 health. Just spreads it out. Lightning Armor. When you lose health, you can roll a die for each lost health. Each rolled attack that way, the monster whose turn it is loses 1 health. So it damages them. Claws of Steel. On your turn, you make another monster who loses 3 health. They lose 1 extra health. So it's all about damaging. And Target Acquired. When a monster wounds you, you can give them the target token. Which in this sense, I do like that. It's a little bit easier to tell it's a target token versus the other one. A monster who has a target token loses 1 extra health each time you make them lose health. Alright, then we have Gigazar. Detachable Tail. You can't lose health this turn. Radioactive Waste. Gain 2 energy and 1 health. Primal Bellow. All other monsters lose 2 VP. Soaring Adaptability. Choose a die face. Take all the die with this face and flip them to a single face of your choice. So if you rolled a bunch of attacks, if you're like, I don't want to attack, like I don't want to go to Tokyo. Flip them over to health, or whatever you need. It's kind of cool. Defender of Tokyo. If you start your turn in Tokyo, all of the monsters lose 1 VP. Heat Vision. Monsters that would wound, you lose 1 VP. Gamma Breath. Once per turn, you can change one of the guys you roll to attack. And Tail Sweep. Once per turn, you can change one of your guy to 1 or 2. Alright, then we have the King. Monkey Rush. When you play a monster who controls Tokyo, leaves or is eliminated, take control of Tokyo, so you get jump in there quick. Simian Scamper. If you yield Tokyo, you do not lose health, and you cannot lose health this turn. So if someone bashes you for like 5, you can just yield it and not take damage. Jungle Frenzy. Play at the end of your movement phase. If you would wound a monster who controls Tokyo and you didn't take control of Tokyo, take 1 extra turn. So it's like, you hurt them and they don't want to give it up. You get to go again. Giant Banana, getting 2 health. I love all the little text and stuff where it kind of makes, where they kind of like relate them to what the characters are, too, which is kind of cool. The Chest Thumping. You can force monsters you would to yield Tokyo. The Alpha Male. If you would wound at least 1 monster, gain 1 VP. This one's a little different. They just changed the name. So it says, instead of King of Tokyo, it's now I Am the King. Gain 1 extra VP if you take control of Tokyo, or if you start your turn in there. Same effect, they just changed the name of it. And then we have 'Twas Beauty Killed the Beast. When you're in Tokyo, gain 1 VP at the end of each monster's turn, including yours. Discard this card, and lose all your VP if you leave Tokyo. So basically, the longer you can stay in there, you can gain a bunch of extra VP, but if you get kicked out, then you're going to lose. Alright, then we have Alienoid. Adapting Technology. So this is tokens. Put 3 alien tokens on this card. On your turn, you may remove a token to discard the 3 face-up power cards. You have 3 new ones. Discard this when there are no more tokens on it. So that's a different way for him to like get to choose stuff. Otherwise, you can just spend 2 energy to do it, but he doesn't have to spend that. Funny looking but dangerous. If you roll 3 2s, all other monsters lose 1 health. And then I mentioned here, it does not count as an attack. And that's why they got rid of it. Because they wanted to get rid of the word damage and attack. It's either you're gaining or losing a health, or you're gaining or adding an attack die. So they don't have to keep trying to mess with all these words and just use the symbols. Exotic Arms. Before you roll, you can put 2 energy on this card. If you do and roll at least 3 attack, you can take back your 2 energy and make the monsters you wound lose 2 extra health. Otherwise, you lose your 2 energy and you lose your 2 health. So it's a gamble. Anger Batteries. Gain 1 energy each time you would take damage for each heart you lost this turn, which you could combine with the other one if you wanted to. Superior Alien Technology. You can buy keep cards by paying half of their cost rounding up. If you do, put a alien ship token on it. At the start of your turn, roll a die for each of your keep cards with an alien token. Discard each keep card you have rolled with an attack. You cannot have more than 3 keep cards with 3 tokens at a time. Yeah, a lot of wordage, but I like the fact that added in the word keep. This one says, you can purchase a shoddy tech. To do so, pay half price. And see, I don't like when cards in these games try all of a sudden be like, oh, we're going to make like a clever joke or a pun in the cards. No, it's game text. Leave it as game text. Instead of saying, why say purchase shoddy technology? Just say, yeah, you're purchasing it for half price. Who cares why? You wanted to call it shoddy technology, call the card shoddy technology. Mothership Support. Once during your turn, you can spend 1 energy to gain 1 health. This one says even if in Tokyo, so it's kind of an interesting distinction there. Precision Field Support. Draw power cards from the top of the deck until you reveal a keep card from it. Costs 4 or less. Play this card in front of you and discard the other cards you drew. And the final one is Alien Scourge, just gain 2 VP. So those were the 4 ones that are in both decks. So they're both in the base set, and they're in the upgraded set. So now, if you bought the original one, you're going to get Kraken and Cyber Bunny. If you bought the power-up, you're going to get them as well. So we're going to go through them. They did change a little bit on these guys, so we'll just show those. But now if you bought the second edition game base set, but you bought the power-up set, you won't have these characters. So basically you'll have these 16 cards sitting around for characters you don't have. But with the variant rule, you can go ahead and mix them in if you wanted to. So it's kind of nice that way. So we have Healing Rain, gain 2 health. So this ring changes it from wave to ruin to destructive wave. When you take control of Tokyo, all other monsters lose 2 damage. 2 health, same thing. Does the same thing. So cult followers became cult worshippers. Gain 1 energy or 1 VP for each health you gain this turn. And I do like that. There's a slight distinction between these, so I just want to point this out because it says gain 1 VP for each heart you rolled. This is versus each energy you gain. So if you're in Tokyo and you're not gaining health, you're not going to gain energy. It's a minor distinction, but it makes a difference. Same as High Tide. So for each heart you rolled, add 1 heart to your rolled. This one says discard, count each heart as 2 hearts. So it's just a little interesting. I think it just makes it easier to be like, oh, just add an extra one versus counting them as 2. Terror of the Deep. Roll 1 die for each heart you lose this turn. You don't lose heart for each heart you rolled. Kind of see the Kraken's really about keeping his health up, isn't he? Eater of Souls. For each heart you gain 1 heart each time you take control of Tokyo. If you have up to 12 as long as you own this card. So that's nice. Gives you that effect that the extra one did. Sunken Temple. Before rolling dice, if you are not in Tokyo, you can pass your turn to gain 3 health and 3 energy. And Dreadmaw versus Mandibles of Dread. Monsters you wound lose 1 VP. So he's all about gaining health. Then we have Cyber Bunny. So we're going to have this one, and I don't know why they did this. So like Kraken had a few cards with different names. Cyber Bunny has, every card has a different name. So I'm not sure why they did that. But it says, gain 1 energy for each energy you already gained this turn. Versus Fuzzy Logic versus Stroke of Genius. We have Hairstyle versus Emergency Battery. Gain 3 energy. Decoy Rabbit versus Rabbit Split. You can't lose health this turn. I mean, they have the same effects. They just, change the names for some reason. Prince with 1,000 enemies versus Heart of the Rabbit. So this one's worded a little bit differently, but it does the same thing. It says, when another monster finishes rolling, reroll 1 of that monster's dice. Take Heart of the Rabbit from your discard pile when you take control of Tokyo. So you play this, you get its effect, but then you get it back whenever you take over Tokyo. Where the original one just says, discard your reroll dice by another player. Take this back to your hand if you enter Tokyo. They just specify what card it is. We have Rabbit Laboratory versus Secret Laboratory. Cards cost 1 less to a minimum of 0, or the price of cards you buy is reduced by 1. I just like reduce sounds better than less. He who dies with the most toys wins, or King of the Gizmo. Gain 1 VP each time you buy. This is the difference. Each time you buy a keep card versus each time you buy a power card. So the new version actually made it better, or easier to use. Bunny Power Blade versus Energy Sword. Before rolling a die, you can pay 2 energy. If you do, and roll at least 1 attack, add 1 attack to your roll. Gain 1 energy for each attack you rolled this turn. So that's kind of neat. You spend 2, And for every attack you gain an extra attack. And then as long as you get at least 2 of them, you'll gain your energy right back. And then finally, we have the one card that's the same. We have Electric Carrot. If you're in Tokyo, monsters you wound lose 1 extra health unless they give you 1 energy. So that is all the base ones, plus the Pandakai from this set. Then the last ones we're going to get are the Cyber Penguin and Cyber Kitty from the Power Up set. So these ones are only going to be available in the 2nd edition box, and the characters are only going to be available in the 2nd edition box. So we're going to have Freeze Ray. When you wound a monster in Tokyo, give them this card. At the start of their turn, choose a die face. This face has no effect this turn. Take this card back at the end of their turn. Alright, so we have Miraculous Catch. Once per turn during your buy power card phase, you can shuffle the discard pile and reveal 1 card randomly. You can buy this card for 1 less energy than the normal price or discard it. Put back the rest in the discard pile. Deep Dive. Look at the top 3 power cards of the deck. Choose one and play it in front of you for free. Put the other power cards on the bottom of the deck. Cold Wave. Until your next turn, monsters roll 1 fewer die. Encased in Ice, spend 1 energy to choose one of the die you rolled. This die is frozen until the beginning of your next turn. It cannot be changed. It is used normally by monsters during the resolve phase. So that's kind of neat. So like you roll a 1, you could force everyone else have to use that 1, or everyone could gain a health, or that's kind of cool. Blizzard. During your turn, until you start your next turn, monsters only have a single roll and cannot yield Tokyo. This guy's all about like hulking the game or gaining power cards. Black Diamond. Gain 1 extra VP each time you take control of Tokyo, or choose to stay in Tokyo when you could have yielded. And his last one's going to use a token, so Icy Reflection. Choose an evolution card in front of a monster, put a frozen token on it. Icy Reflection becomes a copy of that card as if you had played it. If the copy card is removed from play, discard Icy Reflection. That's kind of neat. And then we have... So there's one other thing that's interesting to point out here. So like on the back, you can kind of see where it looks like his chest, or it's like him. Versus if you look at any of the other ones, it's just like a symbol in the back, or whatever their type is. So yeah, when they started making the new ones, they actually gave them some interesting backgrounds, because the Cyber Kitties have the same thing. They just add a little bit of flair picture in the back, which is kind of neat. So Cyber Kitty has 9 lives. If you're 0 health, discard your cards, including your evolutions, lose all your energy and VP, leave Tokyo. Gain 9 health, 9 VP, and continue playing. Mega Purr. All other monsters give you 1 energy or 1 VP if they have any. They choose which to give you. Electro Scratch. All other monsters lose 1 health. Catnip. At the start of your turn, you only have 1 roll this turn, double the result. Play with your food. When you wound a monster in Tokyo, they must lose at least 2 health. If you can make them lose 2 health, 2 fewer... You can make them lose 2 fewer and steal 1 energy and 1 health from them instead. Feline Motor. During other monsters' movement phases, if Tokyo is empty and you are not inside at the start of your turn, you can take control of it instead of the monster whose turn it is. Mouse Hunter. If you roll at least 1, gain 1 VP. And Meow Missile. If you roll at least a 1, add 1 attack to your die roll. Alright, so that was our powered up expansions. So again, with this one, I would just recommend buying the 2nd edition. It's going to be easier to find. You're going to get all the exact same cards in it, with the addition of 2 extra characters, because you're going to have the ones from the 2nd edition set. So So the only other reasons to buy the base set is if you, especially if you own this, would be one, because you can get the different artwork. Two is because it's actually going to come with a King of New York promo card, which I don't know if this is available in anything else, but it's Central Park West. So this is for their second game that came out, which plays 90% the same. The core concept is the same. They just added some other stuff into it to make the game a little bit more interesting. So this is our power card for that. So it can only be purchased in Manhattan. So it says 2 BP. When purchased, reveal one card from your deck for each player in the game. You may choose one to gain immediately. The monster you left chooses one of the remaining cards, and so forth until each monster has gained one card. So it's just basically you get 2 BP, and then every player gets a card, but you get first choice. So it's kind of a neat, interesting promo card. But it says it's only for that game. Like, could you use this in this one? I'm sure you probably could. It's just going to have a different back. But they just say it's a promo card. But that's only available in the original set. I don't know if it's worth going out and spending, 10, 20, 15 bucks, whatever this is. If you already own the original one, just to get a promo card and a different artwork card. This power-up set, though, will also be available, so if you don't own the game, I said this in my last video, they're coming out with the second edition Monster Box, which will have the base game, this expansion, and the Halloween expansion, plus some extra bonus cards and an extra character that are exclusive to that box currently. The character's exclusive, the cards are promo cards that were available elsewhere, but they're making them available that way. So if you don't own the game at all, and you're watching this video and you're like, oh, this looks really fun, I would wait and just buy that big box set versus buying all 3 of these expansions separately. And that's what I got for today. Check out the other videos. See you guys later. Bye.